Today we're going to reseal or repack some hydraulics or a hydraulic cylinder. This particular unit's a wheel dingo. Older unit, I think, was manufactured in 2001, and these are the original cylinders, so pretty old. And this one in particular in the front, this is considered your tilt cylinder because it tilts and curls your attachment. This one's leaking pretty good, as you can see, right out this dirt seal right here in the cylinder. So I got the seal kit, and I'm going to reseal it to eliminate the heavy leaking like that. First thing I'm going to do is label my hydraulic lines that go into it. It's just kind of forced a habit for me. This one is would be really hard to mix up, but you know, I got my top line here, my bottom line here, and then I'm going to come down here, and we see these lines right here. I'm going to go ahead and take that line off. I think it's 11/16 wrench. I'm going to keep the 90 on it. I'm going to take that line off. I'm going to take this line off too, right here, and then keep the 90 on. Of course, I got my drain under it because a lot of fluid's going to come out, and I have these pieces of wood as a brace, so when this has something to rest on, because it's not going to be being held by this tail cylinder. And then I'm going to take this bolt out right here and remove this pin, and then when I do that, you know, the front of this quick attach plate will go down, so just brace everything so nothing crazy happens. And then what I'm going to do before I take, or I'm not going to take the other pin off, but what I'm going to do is start to unscrew the cylinder. This cylinder is just a straight screw off. Some cylinders will have these holes right here and then have another hole right here for a metal band that goes around that holds everything in. So if you have the kind of rectangle hole right here, there's a metal band that needs to be kind of fished out when you turn it, and it'll start to pop out the hole, and you keep going around, keep going around, keep going around, and then the whole metal band will come out, and that's how you remove the top. But for this one, you just keep turning it and turning it and turning it and turning it until it actually comes out, and then your whole cylinder, or this ram part with all your pistons and stuff in here, will come out with it. But even before I pulled it out, I went ahead and extended the ram right here, which is the silver part, and you want to go ahead and make sure that this ram is straight. If it's bent, you have to replace your cylinder. You also want to check for any nicks or pitting, and a nick would constitute any kind of gouge that if you ran your fingernail across it, your fingernail would catch it. So if you do have that, we usually just replace the cylinder, because once that nick keeps going back in and out, it'll cut your seal again, and then you have the same problem. So I'm going to go ahead and start unscrewing this. For this, you need a special tool. It's called a spanner wrench. So this spanner right here, it's got a little nub on it. Stick the nub in the hole, and then just start twisting around until you get it all out. Yeah, as you can see, I got the cylinder out of the barrel and up on this vise, so I can start removing the seals. I've already taken this seal off right here, so go ahead and remove that seal. I've already removed this white seal that sits in here, so remove that. Move this white seal here, move this little black O-ring, remove the thing that holds the O-ring, and then there's another O-ring underneath this part right here that needs to be removed as well. And for this seal, when you take that out, it's going to expose two Allen holes, Allen heads. So loosen up those Allen heads all the way so it's not holding anymore. And then I'm going to take this bottom part off, and to do that, I have this special tool that goes in here, the spanner wrench, and then you just twist it off. So if you see, it's screwed on the bottom of the ram right here. So unscrew it that way and then take it off. Remember, all these cylinders are set up different ways with different seals in different spots. This is just an example of how this one works. Some, instead of having these holes to use a spanner wrench to get off, some of these are attached with a nut. You just remove the nut to get it off, and those are the easy ones, but unfortunately We got the hard one today. Now we got the bottom part of the cylinder off. Now for the top part of the cylinder, this part, we got 2 O-rings right here that need to be removed, 1 and 2. Remember, one is bigger than the other one, so just make sure you know exactly where the smaller one goes and the bigger one goes. Don't mix them up. You got an O-ring up here too. Then go ahead and pop this off the bottom. And in here you got 2 big O-rings, or big seals right here. There's one and then one right next to it. Those are hard to get out, but those have to come out. Flip it over. You're gonna take your dirt seal out, which is here. And then you're gonna have 2 more seals in here. You're gonna have this white one that's behind it needs to come out, and this red one that needs to come out too. And remember the way this dirt seal looks right here, it's got to go back in the same way. There's 2 ways to the dirt seal. It can be, you can install it backwards, so just keep in mind how this dirt seal looks. You got to put it back the same way. So go ahead and remove all that. Alright, all my seals are out, and I'm going to go ahead and back and start to reseal. The number one thing to do is you got to make sure everything, all your seals are out, everything's cleaned up so there's no foreign debris or leftover gasket or O-rings or anything there. Just take your time, clean everything on the inside out. Same with your cylinder ram, just everything you take off, make sure it's clean before you put it back together. So we're going to start resealing the top part of the cylinder. There's my seal kit. Every one of these seals, before I install them, I'm going to dunk in 10W30 oil. So I got my whole oil thing ready right there, ready to go. And just replace it exactly how you took out. So this is going to be your first one right here. You're going to stick this in. After you dunk it in oil, you're supposed to push it in kind of a C. So push it like this, and I can't really do it while I'm holding the phone, but you want to push it in kind of a C, so when you put it in there, it snaps into place. And this is important because you can put this in wrong. See that groove right there? That needs to be pointed at the barrel. And the barrel is the black part of your cylinder, which is that right there. That black part is called your barrel. So that needs to be pointed at the barrel. If you put it in upside down like this, then you're going to be wrong. So you put that in, and then this seal, I believe, goes above it. And go ahead and fold that in, and it should snap into place. And then your wiper seal here. Of course, you want to put this in just like this, with this part right here pointed down towards the barrel. You put that in. And then on the inside, on the other side, you're going to put these 2 bad boys in, which are hard to put in. So what I do is I'll take it, and I grab these grips right here, and I'll stick, one part inside the other where it's split, and then kind of hold it, and then put it in like that and push it into place. And do the same thing with the other one. And then, of course, all your seals here. I believe the little seal, the thin one, goes up towards the top on this, and then the fat seal goes here, and then your another O-ring goes here. And after that's all in, go ahead and reinstall this back on your cylinder, and be very careful that when you install it, you don't catch one of the inside seals on this to cut it, because then you have a cut seal, and then you're back to square one. Okay, so now we're gonna, as you see, I've already put the bottom part of the cylinder on after the top part has been put on. And before you screw it on, you want to put some Loctite in here on the inside of these grooves before you tighten it up. And then after you put the Loctite on, just go ahead and start tightening down. Of course, I use the same tool, this, to help lock it down until it stops. Then after it's locked down pretty good, go ahead and tighten your 2 Allen bolts, and then put this new seal on after it's oiled up. And then you're going to have to put all your seals in here, which is a big O-ring in the bottom, another thing on top of the O-ring, and then a small O-ring on top of the holder, and then 2 white spacers seals. Put those in, they're all oiled up, ready to go. After that, you're going to take that whole piston assembly and then put it back in your tube. Just be careful when you put it up that you don't catch any kind of seals or anything as you install it, and then go ahead and take your spanner wrench and tighten it down. Hook up your lines, your 2 hydraulic lines, hook up your pen back on your quick attach cylinder, and you should be good to go.